Life is good here in the Lowcountry, and one medical provider is working very hard to make sure that it stays that way. St. Joseph's Candler has been providing advanced medical care to citizens of the Lowcountry for decades. Known for their highly skilled medical personnel, their commitment to breakthrough treatments and state-of-the-art technology, St. Joseph's Candler offers a wide variety of programs and services to treat illness and promote wellness to all of the citizens of all of the communities it serves. Today, we're taking an inside look of one of the many ways that St. Joseph's Candler is improving the health and well-being of the region. This is Living Smart in the Lowcountry. Thanks for joining us. Today, we're taking a closer look at just one of the many medical services offered by St. Joseph's Candler here in the Lowcountry. We're in Belfair Town Center at St. Joseph's Candler's Imaging Services, where we're going to discuss some of the incredible state-of-the-art medical technology offered right here in Bluffton. How these tools assist physicians in better identifying medical concerns, and most importantly, how that improved technology can lead to improved patient outcomes. Let's get started. Hello, we are joined now by Dr. Daniel O'Meara, Dr. Jordan Dixon, both of who are radiologists here at St. Joseph's Candler Imaging Center. A lot to talk to you about today. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
So let's talk about x-rays for starters. I think people are generally aware of x-rays, x-ray technology. Many people have had an x-ray themselves, but nowadays imaging technology has really advanced, and it's exciting to chat a little bit about this. Let's talk about how it has so radically changed over the years.
Yeah, as you say, x-rays in the early days of imaging were the tool that we had to make basic diagnoses like a broken bone or pneumonia. And x-rays are still commonly used as the first type of imaging to diagnose and screen for more obvious diseases because they're readily available and very easy and quick to perform at most imaging sites. Unfortunately, the two-dimensional images that we get with x-rays are relatively limited in the amount of information that they can give us about what's going on inside of our bodies. And so that's why CT and MRI, which provide very detailed 3D images of our internal organs, have become powerful and important tools in medical imaging. And CT and MRI have both advanced greatly over the years, both in terms of image quality and patient comfort. While the early scanners were relatively slow and cramped from the patient's perspective, the newer machines provide quick and comfortable experiences for our patients.
So, that's really interesting to hear how, the evolution of all this technology. Let's unpack this just a little bit more and talk about the differences, because there are so many tools available today. So it sounds like x-ray is still kind of in the mix. We still need it for certain functions, but we have now ultrasounds, 3D mammography, CT scans, and MRIs, as you were discussing. Can you give us a basic difference from a physician's point of view of when you might use these different tools and why they are important individually?
So as Dr. O'Meara mentioned, often x-rays, which can be from extremities to breast imaging, are the first line of imaging often used, and particularly in breast imaging, which is my field of expertise. Mammography remains the gold standard for detecting breast cancer, so that is often our first line of imaging. However, we do often supplement that initial x-ray imaging utilizing ultrasound or MRIs, particularly if there's a continued concern or complaint, or if a patient is at a high risk for something, such as utilizing breast MRI in patients who are at high risk for breast cancer based upon family or personal risk factors. Also, the additional technologies, CT or MRI, are great at looking at soft tissue, like our internal organs, or finer details at our joints.
So lots of different reasons to use all these different technologies. One that I want to spend just a minute or two on here before we head to break is MRI. So this, I didn't even realize what the acronym was for. It was magnetic resonance imaging, something we don't think about as patients sometimes. But you are the only folks in the area here at St. Joseph's Candler to do open MRI. I think that is huge. Let's talk about that and why that's so important to some patients.
Yeah, I agree. The traditional MRI scanners require patients to have their images taken while their body's inside of a relatively narrow tube. And that can be an uncomfortable situation for some patients, particularly those with claustrophobia or children who are being imaged that feel anxious when they can't see or hear a parent. And so open MRI is a newer technology we have to improve patient comfort. Instead of having the patient positioned inside that narrow tube, the patient goes into a larger, more rectangular space where there's a lot more light and a greater ability to see outside of the scanner. And you certainly feel a lot less cramped being imaged inside of an open MRI compared to the traditional closed system.
I can only imagine how impactful that is for somebody who feels claustrophobic or maybe gets anxiety leading into an MRI, to be able to have an experience that is so much better and more open, hence the name. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Jordan Dixon. We appreciate you being here. Dr. O'Meara, you're going to stick with us after the break, as I hope you do too. We'll be right back.